Happy Friday, September 6th. Further thought. Typically, I like to answer the question. So we have 4 questions for this Friday. If you're a Sabbath school teacher, use these answers to discuss them tomorrow, because don't forget, 90% of the people who come to your class do not study the lesson. Okay? 90% of the people who come to your class do not. So what are you going to teach to people who haven't studied the lesson? Questions. So question number 1. How is Jesus' prediction with Mary Magdalene actually being fulfilled? I answer with a scripture. Mark 14:9. Surely I say to you, wherever this gospel is preached in the whole world, what this woman has done for me will also be told as a memorial to her. So here we have 2 predictions. One of them, what Jesus did, what Mary Magdalene did, is going to be preached all over the world. And number 2, the preaching of the gospel will be preached all over the world. So were the 2 fulfilled? You bet. When I started in 1993, I never imagined that I will be able to preach to the whole world. And there will be people listening to me from the Philippines, and from Lima, and Buenos Aires, and Argentina, and Africa. Unbelievable. And this is the blessing of the internet. It could be a blessing, but it could also be a curse. I hope you and I can use it for the glory of God. Question number 2. Compare and contrast Judas and Peter. How were they alike, and how are they different in the way they acted in the Passion narrative? Scripture. Matthew 7:21. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will, who obeys, who listens to and obeys the will of my Father who is in heaven. So what is the difference between Peter and Judas? Very simple. Both of them had a relationship with Jesus. You know something? A relationship is not enough. Judas had a relationship with Jesus. The word relationship doesn't even appear in the Bible. I don't know. A lot of pastors use the word relationship to say, oh, that's my salvation. Yes, it is. The connectivity with Christ. The concept is there. But the word that the Bible uses for that connectivity with God is abide, to reside, to trust. I'm going to call it justification by trusting God. And trusting requires obedience. There is Platonic love and Aristotelic love. There is Judas's relationship and there is Peter's relationship. Which one is it? Well, you need obedience. Judas had a relationship with Jesus. For 3 years, he prayed, he walked, he ate. He had a relationship with Jesus. A relationship in and of itself doesn't save. You need to have contrition. You need to obey, obedience, whatever the Lord. It's not enough to say, Lord, Lord, Lord. You need to obey. Question number 3. Discuss the meaning of the Lord's Supper. How can we make this more meaningful in our church and involve more members in the celebration? Very simple. You know what I do? James 1:27. Religion, pure religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this. By the way, the word religion is not a bad word. Don't listen to the people who say the word religion is a bad word. Religion is in the Bible. It means again, ligare, connect, to reconnect with God, man and God. What is it? To look after orphans, to visit the widows, to visit the orphans. What does that have to do with communion? Very simple. After communion, there's 300 emblems, 300 pieces of bread, 300 cups of grape juice, unfermented, non-alcoholic juice. Okay? So right after, the attendance of our church is about 200 people. Okay? Roughly speaking, 200 people. So we have 100 left. What do we do with the left? Very simple. Ladies and gentlemen, deacons and deaconesses, elders and elderesses, listen to me. There's 100 on the table. They've been prayed upon. They are blessed. put it in a container, and go visit Palmdale Hospital, Regional Hospital, Lancaster Hospital, the shut-ins in their homes. Go visit them. They will enjoy the emblems that are there for them. David Savarino and all the people who are in the hospital, visit them. Alan Higgins, Michael, and they will receive that. And that is how the Lord's Supper could be a visitation tool for you and I to reach out those that are in their homes and bring them to the church. Number 4, discuss the fact that God said no to Jesus' prayer in Gethsemane. What does it mean when God says no to us? What does it mean? By the way, I'm going to give you another scripture because nobody cares about my opinion. Nobody cares about my position. That's why every question with a scripture. And my scripture for this question is Isaiah chapter 55, verse 9. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. If God is telling you no for anything, don't lose hope. Trust that God knows what He is doing and has something better than what you and I wanted. And that is a message for you today. I finish with a story. This is a beautiful story of Cassandra. And I'm going to make it short. It's a long story of about 15 minutes. I'm going to make it very short. Cassandra is a single child. This is a story of the modern prodigal Cassandra. She lives in Madrid. Before that, her parents have a house in Cordova. In Cordova, España, is the place where she was raised, where she was born. And don't forget, a single child has everything and nothing at the same time. They are spoiled, they get everything they need, and they have everything they could ask for. But they also have nothing at the same time. It's a very difficult life of a single child. So this Cassandra, she's by herself. She's been raised in Cordova. Cordova is in between Malaga and Madrid. It's about 300 miles. At the 200 level, there's Cordova, Spain, and there's Madrid. So in Cordova, where she was raised, one day the father says, Cassandra, listen to me. If you get pregnant with your boyfriend, you're not supposed to be dating that hippie to begin with. But since you are, against my will, if you get pregnant, this is the last time you see my house. This is the last time you see my face. And this is the last time you see your mom's face. You're out. The following day, 11 p.m., she's not home. The following day, 1 a.m., she's not home. 3 a.m., she's not home. 5 a.m., she's not home. The whole week, she doesn't come back to the house. 2 weeks later, sure enough, she's pregnant. And she comes to the house and says, Daddy, I'm leaving. Don't say a word. I'm picking up my luggage. I'm leaving. I'm going to Madrid. And in Madrid, I will live my freedom. I will find somebody who loves me. I love my hippie boyfriend. You are discriminated. You just don't like him. So she goes to Madrid, and there she lives in a libertine way, in a sinful way, like a wolf. She eats like a wolf. She cries like a wolf. She loves like a wolf in Madrid. When all of a sudden, the love of her life, the one who says, if you love me, you'll let me before marriage, typical, now says, if you love me, you'll have an abortion. Don't forget, ladies, if you're listening to me, if somebody's not married to you and says, if you love me, you'll let me, don't forget the guy who says, I love oranges. They squeeze the orange, they drink the juice, and after they have the peel, they throw the peel away to the trash can and they say, I love oranges. You will end up like an orange peel. And she's by herself. Abandoned, ignored, thrown to the trash can, walking the streets of Madrid, no money in her pocket, selling her body in the streets. When all of a sudden, somebody who knows somebody from Malaga throws a phone call to her. She picks up the phone. Is this Cassandra so-and-so? Yes, it is. We heard that you are going through a difficult time. Would you like to work for us in Malaga? Sure. Do you want to make a little bit of money? Sure. Okay, next Sunday we'll send you the ticket and you will be with us. The train ticket will be yours and you will be taken care. Would you sign this contract to take care of 2 elderly people? Yes, I will. They are handicapped. Your house will be free. Your food will be free. You will get a stipend and you will have money. She is so happy. She knows that in Madrid, life has no future for her. She has no husband. She has no boyfriend. And she says, I am going to go to Malaga. But then she remembers in her brain, my train will go to Malaga, but in the middle of the train track, there is my house, Cordova. I am going to leave and maybe my house, I will remember my dad. And I will become nostalgic with my mom. I'm going to write him a telegram. So she writes a telegram. She gets a piece of paper, an envelope, and she gets a telegram. Dear Daddy, my train is going through the house in Cordova. And my train will go very close to the huge African tamarind tree in front of our yard. And my train will go very close to the 2-story house where I was born. And the train will go very close to the large fence and a huge front yard and a huge backyard. Dad, please forgive me what I did to you. My most surrendered apologies to you, Mom. And I want you to forgive me. So as my train goes by very close to the house tomorrow, I want you to show your forgiveness by putting and tying a little white handkerchief in one of the branches of the tamarind tree. If I see the white handkerchief, that would mean to me that you have forgiven me. But Mom and Dad, if I don't see a handkerchief, I would also understand. I have hurt you too much in the past. I have brought shame to your name. If I don't see a handkerchief, I will stop and I will continue my way to Malaga, and I will work on Malaga with these elderly people. I will make money, and I will understand you're not forgiving. I understand. It's understandable. The following morning, she goes with the ticket. She gives it to the train captain, and she finds her seat. And she tries to find a seat, but there's no seat for her next to the window. They give her a middle aisle. Next to the window, there's an elderly man. Sir, can I ask you a question? Sure. Can you let me know when we go through Cordova? Can you let me know if after you make a right, the train makes a right, and after the train makes a left? On a curve, there's a huge house very close to the train. I will tell you when. The house has 2-story. It has a huge front yard. It has a humongous backyard. It has in front a large African tamarind tree. If you see a white handkerchief in one of its branches, can you please let me know? It's very important for me. Yes, lady. Yes, miss. Yes, señorita. That morning, the train, 100 miles later, they are still in the middle, in between. 200 miles later, The distance between Madrid and Malaga are 300 miles. At the 200 miles is Cordova. And as soon as they get to the town of Cordova, the lady says from her seat, "Sir, can you please don't forget what I asked you?" "No, I won't. But please tell me if there's a white handkerchief." And the pilot, the driver, the captain who sees her, "You need to go back to your seat. You need to go back to your seat." When all of a sudden, as they are going, the lady says, "Do you see the huge story house?" "Yes, we do." "Do you see a little white handkerchief?" "No, lady, there is no white handkerchief." But then the other passengers tell her, "You need to go close to the window." But the man says there is no white handkerchief. "But you need to go close to the window." And the pilot, "You need to go close to the window." And the elderly man, come to the window." But the pilot says, "I cannot go. I'm not supposed to." You have to. It doesn't matter. It's more important. "You need to go close to the window." And she goes close to the window. And she doesn't see a little white handkerchief. On top of the house, there are white sheets covering the house. 20 white sheets covering the house. And the white sheets are covering every single branch of the tree, every single part of the fence, every single on the door. The two elderly people on the side, both of them are raising their hand. They have gone to the supermarket and they have purchased every single white sheet possible because they didn't want to be passed by. They knew that a little white handkerchief was too small and they wanted to show how much they had forgiven. And the elderly couple had bought all over. They put it all over the tree, every window, every door, every fence, on the backyard. They had showered with white sheets so that she would receive and know that they had forgiven her. She was home that evening. She was home that evening with her mom and her dad. And she lived there, finding happiness for the first time. My friends, there's a God in heaven who sent his son, Jesus Christ, so you and I could find forgiveness. He gave his life. The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. Happy Sabbath. Happy Sabbath. May the Lord bless you. And if you want to be baptized, send your name to your pastor and you will be baptized. Happy Sabbath. And may the Lord continue blessing you and blessing me. And I will see you tomorrow.
I'm going higher.